So hello and good evening to the Nottingham Buddhist Centre online drop-in meditation. Tuesday evening, 8th of December, and my name is Richard. If you've been a regular here or you checking on these videos, you've no doubt seen me around. I've had a couple of weeks off where Paul has taken over for a short while. So tonight we're going to do the Metta Bhavana, which is the cultivation of loving kindness. Rather than take you through the whole thing, what I can do is redirect you to our Meditation Toolkit, which is on our YouTube channel, and there's some good input there about how to do this meditation. So what I'll do though, I will make sure that you don't feel a bit lost during the meditation. I'll give you plenty of reminders. And so tonight we'll just keep it very simple, I think. I did an online retreat recently, and one of the meditation teachers from the Vajraloka Meditation Centre in Wales, called Tejananda, and he was there talking very much about the body. And he talked about the idea of sort of wholeness and integration being quite an embodied kind of experience, which I think is a really interesting way of looking at how we sort of engage with the world, I guess you could say. We are very heady and conceptual in our culture, I think. And to focus in on the body, it has a kind of, not only a kind of enlivening effect, but it kind of makes things cohere a bit more. You feel more in tune with yourself, or that's my experience of doing it. Now, I can't claim to have any insight on how that works, but I know it does seem to happen if you meditate on the body quite a bit. And I think the important thing about meditating on the body is it can be important to label your experience sometimes. You know, there is pain, there is pleasure, there is all sorts of things like that. I'm in a high energy state, I'm tired, all of those things. But actually, a lot of the time, it's very helpful to not label your experience too much, because in some ways that takes it up into your head and away from your bodily experience, if that makes sense. So one way that we can do that is simply ask our body a question. So I'll drop this question in during the meditation. And the question is simply, what is my experience? And the key part of this really, well, that's a very interesting question in its own right. The main thing really that you're looking at is you're trying to get a non-verbal answer from your body. So as soon as you start to label it and say, maybe I'm tired or whatever it is, that's not necessarily your experience. That's a story about your experience. So looking for the non-verbal response from your body, you say to yourself, what is my experience? And you get something from your body responds, but it's going to be a non-verbal answer. It will be a sensation of some kind that's coming to you through your consciousness. And the way this links to the Metta Bhavana is that when we're looking at metta, loving kindness, quite a lot of that is an embodied experience. We do incorporate our will into this practice. So one of the ways of training our will to create more metta. But one of the things that we can look for in experience is where metta is in our body. And that's a really strong experience, actually. A lot of the time our mental experience is kind of after the event, and we're responding, but we sort of perceive it as a mental event, when a lot of the time it's actually a bodily experience. So it's going to be very much a body practice tonight, and we're going to keep it quite simple. Because when you bring people to mind, as we do in the Metta Bhavana, almost certainly the first thing that will happen before you've had a time to cognize or anything like that is your body will respond to the presence of a person in your experience, even if it's in your mental world. Your body will respond in some way. So we're going to look for metta as a body experience, however that might be. It could be quite a subtle experience in lots of different ways for you. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So there won't be very much talking from me, other than to just say, if you do feel like you benefit from these videos or you benefit from the life at the centre in general, that we're very, very grateful for any donations that you can make. So there should be a link in the description of this video. I appreciate these videos don't go up straight away. But on our website, there is also a link. So along with a vast number of other organisations out there at the moment, our income is down. And we do need to just keep going, basically, and get through this strange year that we're having. So any donation, I mean, we're always grateful for that. That's how we run, really. But we're even more grateful in times like these for any support that you can offer to us. So just a little word about posture, actually. Yeah, if you are new to meditation and you're not sure in what way to sit, it's a bit tricky to try and work with posture over the internet. So all I'll really say is, if you feel like you're comfortable and can stay in that position for about 25 minutes without becoming uncomfortable or having to make major adjustments, then that's good enough for what we're going to do tonight. If you're already feeling a little bit of discomfort, or your body is working hard to keep you upright, or is working hard in any other sense, you can sort of sense that there'll be a tension in your muscles. You might already start to be feeling a bit fatigued in your core muscles or something like that. Try and fix that before the meditation starts if you can. In my experience, those kind of structural problems in posture, they don't go away, they get worse during the meditation because your body becomes fatigued, and you may even start to experience a little bit of pain or something like that. So do experiment a little bit. You can do this, you could, even if you wanted to, do it standing up. You can do it lying down, you can do it however you feel comfortable. But do try and make yourself as comfortable as possible. It should be a posture where you are able to do two things, really. You're able to stay alert in your mind, so you're not falling asleep, you're not getting too relaxed, but you can relax as fully as you possibly can. So this is why we sit in this upright posture, because it allows us, our body, to support ourselves, but also it allows us to just relax fully. So it does those two things. So whatever works for you, just find that space. So we'll start with a brief couple of minutes of body scan, and then we'll go into the practice. I'll remind you which stages you're in, because obviously I don't want you to sort of get lost and a bit confused about where you are, especially if you're new to the practice. So if you are comfortable, just gently close your eyes. And just take in a sense of what your experience is at the moment. Chances are it's going to be a result of the kind of day you've had. You may have had quite a busy day that's energized you in some way, a lot of interaction with people. Could have had quite an exciting day, maybe a bit of good news, all sorts of things like that. You could also have had quite a draining day in some ways. You could be feeling quite sleepy, a bit low energy, about ready for a rest. So just notice where you're starting from, because you'll be somewhere where you're starting from will dictate what happens in some way, or how you deal with what happens in some way. So we can begin by just tuning into our bodily sensations very generally. What's in the foreground of our bodily sensation at the moment? Could be something very, very strong, maybe a bit of pain that you normally experience. You may have just eaten and feel a bit of satisfaction of eating food. All of these signals that the body is giving us. What's happening for you at the moment? We can just tune into our emotional tone. Don't worry about describing it too much. Just tune into any feeling that we have. Where is that feeling in the body? Is it making us think certain things, remember certain things? Is it having an effect on our mental state? Now we can start to scan through the body with awareness, beginning down in our feet or wherever we're in contact with the floor somewhere. Just feeling that sense of contact with the floor. Now coming up our legs to our knees and around our hips, trying to bring a sense of softness and relaxation into our muscles. Excuse me. Now coming up into our diaphragm, around our abdomen, just sensing how the breath changes that part of the body. And again, trying to bring a sense of relaxation and softness to that area. Now bringing awareness up into our chest, trying to get a sense of our muscles and ribs moving with the breath. And get a sense of the quality of the breath. Is it quite smooth and regular? It has a depth to it? Or is it quite short and shallow? Maybe a bit irregular? Just noticing the quality of the breath at the beginning of the meditation. This will change. Tracing awareness down our arms to our hands. Very sensitive part of the body. Sometimes we can store a bit of tension in our hands. Sense of gripping with the fingers. So just try to tune into a sense of softness and relaxation, allowing them to just be at rest. Now bringing awareness up our neck, into our head, feeling the skull balancing on the top of the spine, a point that's almost in the center of the head. Allowing softness and relaxation to exist across your scalp and forehead, your eyebrows and eyes. Allowing your eyelids to rest gently closed. Now down the nose to around the lips, around the jawline. This is another area where we can store tension. So just try to bring a sense of softness and relaxation to this part of the body. Sometimes if you're making a bit too much effort in a meditation, bit of tension can manifest in this part of the body, around the face, the mouth, the forehead, and also around the hands. So just remember to check in from time to time in those parts of the body. So begin this meditation by bringing ourself to mind. And just notice the immediate response that you have to bringing yourself to mind. What happens in your body when you do this? So whatever happened in your body, there is a strong impulse within the body for it to be well, to be happy, to be free from suffering. We nurture ourselves, we wear warm clothing, we want to be comfortable, we feed ourselves. All of these are acts of loving kindness, acts of metta towards ourselves. See if we can find this impulse in the body, maybe. Sense of contentment, sense of self-care, self-cherishing. And as you sense this sensation in the body, the presence of loving kindness, you can bring a certain mental attitude to that, encouraging what we've found, becoming more absorbed in it. And we can repeat the phrase to ourselves, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be free from suffering. If you become distracted at all, just come back to your breathing, to your bodily sensation. And we can begin to ask ourselves the question, what is my experience? Just allowing the body to speak. Looking for a non-verbal answer to that question. encouraging any sensation of metta to grow, becoming absorbed in it. So now in the second stage, we bring to mind a good friend. This could be someone that we're very happy to see under any circumstances. Someone we have a quite simple, positive relationship with. And again, just notice what happens in your body when you bring this person to mind. It may help to remember the time you were with this person and you were happy. Just tuning into how that made you feel. And again, just asking your body for its response. What is my experience of metta? Listening to the language of the body. So now in the third stage, we bring to mind a neutral person. So someone that we don't really know, but we do see them around. We can get a good visual sense of them. Just allowing someone into our experience that we don't have a like for or a dislike for. Wishing this person well, may they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from suffering. Encouraging this sense of metta to grow within us, become a more powerful force. As we introduce this neutral person into our experience, what's happening in the body? Trying to tune in to the signals that the body is giving us as we choose to focus on our positive emotions. We find the presence of metta in our bodies. Just try to stay with that sensation, become absorbed in it. So now in the fourth stage, we bring to mind a difficult person. This could still be a friend of ours that there's some difficulty with. We just pick someone who there's some small amount of tension. And we're going to look for metta in our bodies, even in the presence of a more negative emotion. Keeping this flame of metta alive, even in more adverse circumstances. And again, whatever it was that we found, when we started to bring this person into our experience, and bring an intention towards that, and to be well, to be happy, to be free from suffering. Just tuning in to what our body is telling us about this sensation. So now in the final stage, we bring to mind all four people: ourselves, a good friend, the neutral person, and the difficult person. And we just allow them all to exist in metta. We have metta for all four equally, trying to equalize our feelings towards them. Whatever we feel for ourselves, we also feel for the neutral person. Whatever we feel for the good friend, we feel for the difficult person. Just allowing metta to exist, to allow those people to exist. And now from that point of equalizing metta for the four people, you can start to radiate outwards, spreading metta to include all of the people around you at the moment, in your house or wherever you are. To include all of the people in the streets around where you live. To include people in the town, the village or the city, wherever you are. Radiating out this metta. Just including all beings that it encounters. Radiating further to include all people in the country. And out around the world. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. Now, as we approach the end of the meditation, just bringing awareness back to our body, back to how we're feeling. Just tuning into any sense of contrast between when we started to meditate and what's happening now. And then when you're ready, just gently open your eyes and bring the meditation to a close. Okay, well, thanks very much for joining us this evening, folks. and I hope you got something from that meditation. If there was anything you weren't too clear about what was happening, please do check in on the Meditation Toolkit on our YouTube channel, because that will hopefully clear up any sort of questions you might have. Unfortunately, this format doesn't really lend itself too well to Q&As, so yeah, do check that out if you can. And again, if you do feel you want to make a donation, very, very grateful for that. So I will be back next Tuesday. I'll be doing every Tuesday for a while now. So I'll be around, and yeah, I hope to see you next week. So I hope you have a good time meditating in the week, and I'll see you then. Take care.